So guys, there's this buzz going on between Rufai of Arise TV and Babajide of TVC News. So before Tinubu declared the state of emergency on Rivers State, there was a statement made by Babajide, and when that state of emergency was actually, declared, some people were wondering, does it mean he knew that such a thing was coming to play? And some people were also saying that his stance, what he said before, started changing from what he was now saying after the state of emergency was declared in terms of whether he's supporting Tinubu or not. I'm going to allow you to take a look at all those videos. And now Rufai had to call Babajide out. In short, he mentioned his name, mentioned his media house name, and there've been this back and forth going on, and now Babajide is saying that he's going to sue Rufai, that he's going to be suing Rufai. So guys, you just find out that you cannot support the Tinubu's government without you making a mess of yourself, because there is no pretense in all this. There is no leadership in this country, so you cannot come to cover them up without you making a mess of yourself. So I'm going to allow you just take a look at the videos, what Rufai said and what Babajide said, the back and forth. Let me just allow you to take a look and let me know your honest reaction. You see, these people, the politicians in Nigeria, they are really making a mess of journalism. They are making a mess of journalism in a way that they tend to make people to support them. Anybody that goes contrary to them, they will come for you, But let me just allow you to take a look at what they all said. Take a look.
Well, President Tinubu claims that Governor Fubara, who had written to the same house to enable him present the budget, has failed to obey the Supreme Court. The same Tinubu went ahead to appoint a sole administrator after suspending the governor, deputy governor, and the members of the House of Assembly. Now we are reading that the withheld allocations will be released to the sole administrator, who is nothing but an impostor, concocted capriciously by the president. How do you reconcile this? If it was right for the allocations to be withheld because there was no House of Assembly due to the governor's refusal to present budget before the House, on what legal, moral, or logical basis are you releasing the same allocations to a sole administrator after suspending the governor and the House? Is the sole administrator a constitutional substitute for the House of Assembly and the governor? Well, in the meantime, drama unfolded in the House of Representatives as two female PDP lawmakers engaged in a heated shouting match over the constitutionality of the president's decision to declare a state of emergency in Rivers State before plenary began. Let's take a look. This is not something I wanted to see yesterday, but you can feel their growls with this declaration of a state of emergency at this moment. In Rivers State, residents trooped out to protest against the president's declaration of a state of emergency. Veteran actress Hilda Dokubo, who is an indigene of the state, described the crisis as a deliberate attempt to destabilize the state. Let's take a look.
I will say it over and over and over. What's going on in Rivers State is not signalizing Mubara. What's going on in Rivers State is a comeback for the economic soul of Rivers State. Somebody wants to grab the economic soul of Rivers State.
This is not right. This is not right. We are at peace. Let our children, let our families be at peace. Let people go to work at peace. All these army people driving about, this is not right. This is not right. This is not right.
All right, my heart goes out to them. Meanwhile, an eyewitness recorded a video showing a heavy military presence in Port Harcourt. In the video, the eyewitness claimed that soldiers were arresting people making videos of their presence in the state. Let's take a look.
See what is happening in Rivers State, where we have state of emergency because of someone was videoing and the person was caught. Someone was holding the camera and the how to stop and arrest the person. Soldiers are everywhere in River State. Like, it's crazy. Even here, if you look.
No, this needs to be investigated. Nobody has any right to pick up anyone because they are filming at this moment.
Before the proclamation, before the president declaration, has been generating a lot of reactions. Even another media house also said something about it. But I want your reaction. How do you react to all of this thing happening?
First and foremost, I have the right to disagree with the president.
Okay.
And I've disagreed with the president a number of times. I've disagreed with the CBN governor a number of times. I've disagreed with people in this government a number of times. It is my right. And it is also their right to try to convince me. So there's nothing like taking back what I said. Reading the law, reading the Constitution, I was convinced that a president has not got the power. At least it's not stated in the Constitution that the president had the power to suspend democratic structures. And that was what I said, and I stuck to that. It is borderline irresponsible or irresponsibility for anybody to come out and say Jide took back what he said. I knew that they would do this because they assume that everybody is cowardly. But I cannot at this stage of my career say something, disagree with the president on an issue, and then come out to say, oh, I take it back, or make my position known on an issue because my position does not go along with the president's position. I will now take it back. No, that day will not come. And I've said before on this program that the day it becomes impossible for me to say the truth, God knows what to do with me. So this is not, we didn't start this job today. Some people emerged from nowhere and suddenly became popular on TV. We are not like that. We've taken risks in our life. We've fought the military. Some of our friends lost their lives. Some of us are fortunate to be alive. Some of us wrote stories that sent our editors to jail. But we are lucky to be alive. That day will not come when I, Babajide Otitoju, will have an opinion and will be afraid to express it. And if he expresses it and it goes against the opinion of the president, he will start running from pillar to post and be looking for a way to do damage control. I do not do that. And the president knows me very well. The president has never quarreled with me over any comment that I made that may not tally with his own comment. I can recall occasions when I said some things that the president was not happy about before he became president, and he held my hand. We met at an occasion, he held my hand and said, who told you that this is this, this is this? And I said, I sent people there to do the investigation. That investigation that I'm talking about was in respect of Benue State. The president was not happy with what we did, and he complained to me.
State of Emergency Act 1961.
On the basis of which the Balewa government removed the government in the Western region in 1962 and appointed Dr. Maje Kudume as the sole administrator. But what people should also realize is that in that First Republic, we were running a parliamentary government. The Premier himself was a member of parliament, so first among equals. So once you dissolve the system, it was based on that, State of Emergency Act of 1961. And that was why I said earlier on this program that we no longer have that law. That law, which was quoted during the Obasanjo period, did not exist. And that's the basis on which people are saying, the removal of democratic structures in the Ekiti and Plateau and was it Yobe State, was wrong under Obasanjo. And that, look, under President Jonathan also, that law does not exist. Some people have been saying it now exists.
That's what
and now I'm saying that I have not seen a copy of this, their 2018 act that some people have been quoting. Maybe there was a bill, but I'm not too sure that it passed through the complete process. Right. And in that light, even if that law exists, it's a subsidiary legislation. It cannot be superior to the Constitution. And to the extent that you have Section 1, Sub 2, you have Section 11, Sub 4, you have provisions under 305 also, and you have 188. That law, if it exists, is to the extent of its inconsistency with the Constitution, null and void. Simple, trite law.
Very well. But this TVC journalist, he made all these comments way ahead, right before Tinubu's broadcast, before the declaration. Did he read? Okay, he changed his mouth. Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead. That's why we say people should have integrity. He made all these comments before, but the man, he folded. He changed mouth afterwards. Guess what he was not quoting? He was not saying that somebody sent me about that emergency law. The TVC journalist, Babajide Otitoju. He was not quoting.
No, he's a very senior journalist.
I know, but with due respect, in this regard, you change mouths. That's just it.
How did he change?
We are talking facts.
Okay, what did he say?
Earlier, before now, Dr. Abati, he said all the right things before that decision was made. But next time, yes, and yesterday, at first he blamed Fubara all through. Now he was now talking about the fact that there was an emergency law of 1961, 1962 that you were talking about.
There is 1961, yes.
And he claimed that law, somebody sent him, that had not been repealed. So people are changing mouth. See, when we should be able to call people out, we call journalists out when they go astray. That's the ethics of this job. We're not doing it because we are doing paddy or friendship here. We are saying it because that's just it. Coming back to the main matter at hand, as regards even the decision made in the first place. With due respect, it shows that Mr. Lateef Fagbemi, the Attorney General, didn't even have strong point of reference in his arguments.
Right.
The point about the pipeline that was bombed. Oji, do you know that the pipeline started working back today? The pipeline is back on today. So all of that was just to be able to give somebody a bad name. That's just it. Let's call a spade here.
Well, all right. Before I want to just unpack the whole system. You said that this TVC journalist, has changed his stance at this point.
Babajide Otitoju.
Otitoju.
Yes.
Well,
he's an experienced journalist. Don't just say TVC journalist.
See, I just say TVC journalist because obviously it's easier for me not to pronounce Otitoju. But now you have taught me how to do it. Well, all right. In the meantime, in a controversial move, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Wednesday swore into office retired Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas as the sole administrator of Rivers State during a brief ceremony witnessed by Femi Gbajabiamila, the Chief of Staff to the President, and the Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi, eliciting a wave of reactions.
Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas will solemnly swear after that I would be faithful and dead to the United States, the Federal Republic of Nigeria, but I would preserve, locate, and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So help me God.
All right, let me take a reaction really quickly. This is from Inibehe Efyong, and I love to quote him because he's a lawyer as well. Well, he wrote a long tweet, and I'll read some parts. He wrote, "The Supreme Court decided that the statutory allocations due to Rivers State should be withheld because the governor did not recognize the House of Assembly and did not present the budget before the said House for passage." Well, President Tinubu claims that Governor Fubara, who had written to the same House to enable him present the budget, has failed to obey the Supreme Court. The same Tinubu went ahead to appoint a sole administrator after suspending the governor, deputy governor, and the members of the House of Assembly. Now we are reading that the withheld allocations will be released to the sole administrator, who is nothing but an imposter, concocted capriciously by the president. How do you reconcile this? If it was right for the allocations to be withheld because there was no House of Assembly due to the governor's refusal to present budget before the House, on what legal, moral, or logical basis are you releasing the same allocations to a sole administrator after suspending the governor and the House? Is the sole administrator a constitutional substitute for the House of Assembly and the governor? Well, in the meantime, drama unfolded in the House of Representatives as two female PDP lawmakers engaged in a heated shouting match over the constitutionality of the president's decision to declare a state of emergency in Rivers State before plenary began. Let's take a look. I mean, this is not something I wanted to see yesterday, but you can feel their growls with this declaration of a state of emergency at this moment. In Rivers State, residents trooped out to protest against the president's declaration of a state of emergency. Veteran actress Hilda Dokubo, who is an indigene of the state, described the crisis as a deliberate attempt to destabilize the state. Let's take a look.
I will say it over and over and over. What's going on in Rivers State is not signal like Mubara. What's going on in Rivers State is a comeback for the economic soul of Rivers State. Somebody wants to grab the economic soul of Rivers State.
This is not right. This is not right. We are at peace. Let our children, let our families be at peace. Let people go to work at peace. All these army people driving about, this is not right. This is not right. This is not right.
All right, my heart goes out to them. Meanwhile, an eyewitness recorded a video showing a heavy military presence in Port Harcourt. In the video, the eyewitness claimed that soldiers were arresting people making videos of their presence in the state. Let's take a look.
See what is happening in Rivers State, where we have state of emergency because of someone was videoing and the person was caught. Someone was holding the camera and they had to stop and arrest the person. Soldiers are everywhere in Rivers State. Like, it's crazy. Even here, if you look.
No, this needs to be investigated. Yeah. Nobody has any right to pick up anyone because they are filming at this moment. I'll just read Atedo's tweets before I come to you, Ayo, just to sum up this whole Rivers crisis. Atedo Peter site wrote on X, on the Rivers State crisis, all eyes are on the National Assembly. A 2/3 majority cannot be achieved via a voice vote. Members voting for or against the resolution to ratify the president's emergency actions must identify themselves and cast their votes individually, because we did see that report that there's, that they might not even get enough votes to.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Affirm this state of
we expressed that earlier today, what Atedo Peter Site said with regards to Nigerians deserve transparency in this matter. It's too contentious, it's a divisive order, and a lot of people want to see the outcome, especially because now all eyes on the National Assembly, who are the ones who are the determining factor in whether or not the suspension will go through, and whether or not they would uphold the Constitution, as in a number of people have said that the directive was unconstitutional. So later today, yesterday was the first day, they were not able to achieve quorum. So later today, they are going to be, debating on that, and then a vote will be passed. What is expected or what is required constitutionally is 2/3 majority in both houses, so Senate and the House of Representatives. If you look at the makeup of the House currently, of the National Assembly currently, APC has majority, but not enough majority on its own to form 2/3 to achieve, the passing on to accept the declaration by the president. However, this is where the opposition parties come in. So the PDP, the Labour Party, Youth Party, all those who make up the opposition parties, this is where they come in, and whether or not they will vote in favor of the president or not. We saw what played out already. The arguments have started in the House of Representatives. There are people for, there are people against. Senator Seraki Dixon was on our platform last night. He had talked about how he was against, he didn't agree with this. So there's even division in the National Assembly. Absolutely. We want to see who is going to vote. There are rumors that there is intel that they are looking to have a voice vote in the National Assembly. We don't want that. Absolutely. Nigerians deserve to see how the people they elected into office are voting on this matter, so we can actually hold to account those who are for and against the upholding of the Constitution and the rule of law, in the nation. Beyond that, I think it's important to mention just about the military presence in Rivers State, that the presidency has said that 10,000 troops were sent to Rivers State to contain vandalism in the state. And don't forget that the sole administrator is also a retired vice admiral. So you will see military presence. At least so far, there's been some sort of peace. We haven't heard of any vandalization of pipelines or anything. And that brings to the question again, the justification for the declaration of a state of emergency. That how bad was the situation?
How bad was it?
A number of people in Rivers State said things were not that bad. There was calm, at least relative peace and calm in the state, aside from the recent incident, which was one, and then the pipelines already back on stream, like you mentioned earlier on. So was the violence justifiable? We've seen even more violence in other parts of the country, and a state of emergency was not declared. So how fair was that decision?
All right, Dr. Abati, we've talked a lot about different things, but I wanted you to just touch on the swearing in of Ibas. And in Ibehe Efyong's tweet there, where he was talking about the justification of withholding Rivers allocation, and now they're saying that they're going to, give it to...
we spoke with Chief Saraibe, Chief Saraibe, and he was saying he too is shocked that the resources of Rivers State that the court had said would not be available to the government of Rivers State is now going to be handed over to a complete stranger who has been appointed sole administrator for 6 months. I think people are legitimately concerned about that. But the bigger issue that we can insist upon is about accountability. Who ensures accountability in this particular case? And who is going to actually run that apparatus now that regulations will be passed down, to Rivers State from the Federal Executive Council. But I think, to sum up all of this is an issue that has generated considerable public interest.
Absolutely.
It has turned everybody into a lawyer, including roadside mechanics. Everybody now knows Section 308, Section whatever. I think what is important here is that we should test the law. Fubara has been quoted as saying, well, he has accepted the declaration of emergency. If he has some balls, let him go to court because he has the locus. Let the matter go all the way to the Supreme Court. Let the Supreme Court interpret the law fully so that it's not that everybody is bringing one view, another view. There will be lawyers who will argue from both sides, right? That's why in any case, you have a respondent, you have a defendant. I think there is need for us to test the relevant laws all the way to the Supreme Court. And we hope that we will not have the kind of situation that we had in Plateau State government, I think, Plateau State government versus Attorney General of the Federation, which was decided on the grounds of technicalities. We hope that the Supreme Court will have the courage to spell out the details and interpret this contentious issue. Because you do not know, I think it was the AGF that was referring to, that was saying other states should learn from the example of Rivers. Is that supposed to be a threat? Which state are they going to declare state of emergency?
You started talking about Osun.
We hope that Osun will not be
some people have muted that idea from the APC.
The next target. I mean, we're criticizing this, but the court can help us resolve all the conundrums. Politicians, by their nature, are biased people. That's what Nikitobi, JSC, pointed out. But there should be no bias in this matter, and the court can give the clarity that is required. So the people who are abusing and calling names, they should just try to approach this with basic common sense.
All right.
If tomorrow we see what the government has done that is praiseworthy, we will praise the same government.
Right.
Don't we praise the government on this table?
We always do, but they forget.
But on the grounds of policy, public policy, if we see omissions, I think it's our duty to also point those omissions out.
All right, again, no voice vote. That's what we've all agreed Nigerians are calling for this whole debacle to be televised. The revolution must be televised. You know that, right? That's from Wakanda Forever. Well, all right.
Let's begin with the raging debate over the propriety or otherwise of the declaration of emergency rule in Rivers State by President Bola Tinubu on Tuesday. The comments made by our own Babajide Otitoju just a few hours before the proclamation generated a lot of reactions. As a follow-up on the matter on Wednesday, Babajide stood by his opinion, contrary to some analysts and journalists who said he contradicted himself. For the avoidance of doubt and contradiction, here is what he said on the program on Wednesday. BKO, talk to me. Did you see this coming? Because we talked about the state of emergency on the show.
I didn't see it coming, but I would say that the president caught me and many Nigerians by surprise. I didn't see it coming based on the fact that I had read that section repeatedly. The section cited, I had read it repeatedly. I was very much convinced that a president has not got the powers to sack elected officials. And that was what I said. There are many people who are saying, oh, we are going to hear what Jide will say today. He's going to take back what he said. I do not take back anything. I do not take back anything that I said. I repeat. Based on my reading of the provisions of the Constitution, I did not see anywhere the law permitted the president to sack or to suspend elected state officials like House of Assembly members, like the governor. So, and that was the point that I made. But the president then made that broadcast at 7 o'clock, and we were all shocked. I wasn't thinking along that line. Some thought maybe I had a premonition and that I was trying to dissuade the president, convince the president not to do it. None of that happened. I didn't know that the president was going to do it. I just expressed my opinion that, look, no matter what happens, the democratic structures should be in place, because I repeat, I didn't see anywhere in the Constitution where the president was permitted by law to have those elected officials suspended. And I remember that during Jonathan's time as president, this issue also came up, and lawyers made the point that the president, that you can impose a state of emergency, but not go to the extent of removing state officials who are duly elected by the people. And the state of emergency that Jonathan imposed in the 3 states where Boko Haram insurgency was such a big problem, where they were killing people, it merely permitted the armed forces to detain people for 90 days without trial. So as a journalist and historian, I recall the past, I recalled what happened, and it influenced my judgment at that time. But I could see the mischief that some Nigerians were trying to make, trying to give the impression that I said all of those things after the president's speech. Of course, that was not what happened. I had said it about 1.5 hours before the president. Yes, before the president made the proclamation. Again, some were saying, oh, if the president had said it earlier, would Jide have found the courage to say this? These are people who do not know us, who sit on social media saying all kinds of things about us. We have disagreed with the president a number of times.
Yes.
I can give instances. When the government tried to make universities a revenue generating centers, we opposed it, and the idea was stopped. So it's not every time that we agree with the president. I've not seen that president that we as journalists on this program will constantly support an idea coming from him. So it's not a case of, oh, if he had said it earlier, I would have been forced to support. Of course, I'm entitled to my opinion, and that was what I expressed. There were lawyers who called me to say, Jide, you are wrong. You shouldn't have said the president has not got the power. And one of them went as far as telling me that, and even cited, he said, the Emergency Powers Act 1961/1962 has not been repealed, but only omitted from the compilation of laws of the Federation of Nigeria and described as pent. It remains law. As long as the National Assembly has not repealed it, it remains law. Yes, I said that based on my own judgment. I'm not a lawyer, but based on my understanding of the provisions of the Constitution, and I do not take it back. Those who see me as a coward that will take it back, you are hearing me now. I do not take back what I said yesterday, and that is me.
Okay, well, we're back. So, BKO, I'll start with you, because this comment that you made before the proclamation, before the president declaration, has been generating a lot of reactions. Even another media house also says something about it. But I want your reaction. How do you react to all of this thing happening?
First and foremost, I have the right to disagree with the president.
Okay.
And I've disagreed with the president a number of times. I've disagreed with the CBN governor a number of times. I've disagreed with people in this government a number of times. It is my right. And it is also their right to try to convince me. So there's nothing like taking back what I said. Reading the law, reading the Constitution, I was convinced that a president has not got the power. At least it's not stated in the Constitution that the president had the power to suspend democratic structures. And that was what I said, and I stuck to that. It is borderline irresponsible or irresponsibility for anybody to come out and say Jide took back what he said. I knew that they would do this because they assume that everybody is cowardly. But I cannot at this stage of my career say something, disagree with the president on an issue, and then come out to say, oh, I take it back, or make my position known on an issue because my position does not go along with the president's position. I will now take it back. No, that day will not come. And I've said before on this program that the day it becomes impossible for me to say the truth, God knows what to do with me. So this is not, we didn't start this job today. Some people emerged from nowhere and suddenly became popular on TV. We are not like that. We've taken risks in our life. We've fought the military. Some of our friends lost their lives. Some of us are fortunate to be alive. Some of us wrote stories that sent our editors to jail. But we are lucky to be alive. That day will not come when I, Babajide Otitoju, will have an opinion and will be afraid to express it. And if he expresses it and it goes against the opinion of the president, he will start running from pillar to post and be looking for a way to do damage control. I do not do that. And the president knows me very well. The president has never quarreled with me over any comment that I made that may not tally with his own comments. I can recall occasions when I said some things that the president was not happy about before he became president, and he held my hand. We met at an occasion, he held my hand and said, who told you that this is this, this is this? And I said, I sent people there to do the investigation. That investigation that I'm talking about was in respect of Benue State. The president was not happy with what we did, and he complained to me. But he's not a petty person who will now say, oh, because I do not agree with what Jide said, then he will now tell them, oh, find a way to get Jide out of the company. If those people, if that is the way they are, this president is not like that. And this won't be the last time that I will even have opinion that will not tally with his. I can make that commitment that if I see anything that the president, that constitutes the truth, I will say it. The only thing I said yesterday that some people have interpreted in an illiterate fashion is that some lawyer called me and said that the 1961-62 emergency law was not repealed by an act of parliament, and that because it was simply omitted from the laws of the federation, there is a particular case that was decided, and he cited an authority, Ibidapo versus Lufthansa Airlines, whereby a law that had been brushed aside, not listed in the laws of the federation, the law that they felt was no longer active, was used to decide a case. I'm a knowledge hunter. I call judges before debating issues that have to do with the judiciary. I call judges. I call big lawyers. Some of the biggest judges in our country, I used to call them. Justice Salami, president of the Court of Appeal, I used to ask for his opinion. So when I talk with finality on legal matters, it is because I have spoken with the best in our country. That's how I've made a name for myself. And no TV station in Nigeria, no TV station can rubbish the name that I've made. I was forged in the fire of qualitative journalism. I was trained by the best. And some of the people at the station where they tried to, where they openly lied against me, some of the best in that station passed through me. So this is the fact. Some of the best in that station passed through me. Yes. So I did not take back, I'm saying it again, Nigerians are witnesses to this. I did not take back what I said. What I said yesterday was Nigerians will wait for their representatives to decide what to do with the president's proclamation. The president made his proclamation. I said it is, we have nothing to do about it. We can't decide over it. That the representatives of the Nigerian people, the Senate and the House of Reps, have the final say. They can overrule the president. So that is where I stand. And I've contacted two lawyers. Barrister Titilayo Ajao is one of them. Barrister Olutekun, we have contacted two lawyers. Because if you went on air to lie against me, to say I took back what I didn't take back, to try to portray me as somebody without honor, somebody without integrity, then we shall meet in court. It's as simple as that.
Okay.
Yes, some journalists are already appealing to me, senior journalists say, no, they don't go that far. But what I hate in this world is for people to blatantly and deliberately lie against me. If you do that against me, then you should expect that you'll be resisted. So it's as simple as that. Because we didn't build this reputation today.
Okay. All right. Asuko, your thoughts on this? You know, the mischief. Now that BKO is now going, you know, in this way. But your thoughts on this matter?
No, I think in this industry, if we are talking about those who have honed their skills and have mentored many, one of them is Babajide Otitoju. I was young when I started reading him. So I am honored. When I mean honored, I'm highly honored, you know, to be working with him, okay, to learn from him. We have done so many things together. And when I mean so many things, in this job, and we have won awards together. We have argued. So that is also many people who don't know. We argue over some things and we settle. He's someone who listens. He's someone who has mentored many, including these people, the station that so many people are out there condemning or misinterpreting him. Most of them have won awards. When I mean awards, suggested ideas, story ideas suggested by Babajide, by BKO. I can count them. I can count them. So when people sit down somewhere and then they begin to condemn other people, and this same, most of them have never done any award-winning story before. They don't even know what they call journalism. And let me tell people, when you call yourself a journalist and you have not done a story before,
you're not a journalist. Do they even have the heart to go into the trenches to bring that story?
Do you know how many people that have been haunted? How many people that have been harassed? Including myself, yeah. I know how many times I've been slapped before on the field. But I'll come back, and when I tell my Oga, I say, Oga, they slapped me today. They say, that is the job.
Okay.
That is the job. So people, we must understand, when once you see those who have sacrificed their life for this industry,
exactly,
I think we need to give that respect.
True.
We shouldn't just, because you have the opportunity of being on the screen, just malign people's integrity.
Exactly.
It is wrong.
I was taken aback when I saw it on television, and there was that TVC journalist, and it was really, really sad.
Yeah, well, I've always said it that when people pass their comments, they need to first sit back and look at where those they are commenting about are coming from.
True.
When you don't understand someone's background, when you don't understand the person's philosophy, you can't read that person right. And I've always told people, when you turn 40 and you don't have the courage to speak the truth and leave the person who is being told that truth to get angry, mad, or look inward and say, oh, this person is saying the truth, you have not yet arrived. If you now turn 50 and you still don't have that courage, then you are not worth living. You are not supposed to be alive again, because how many more years you have to go into your grave and then you begin to paper people, you make them feel good all the time. It's not. We must always, and I say this especially to people in government who also, without their principals sending them to fight, go ahead to fight. You must always learn from what people say.
Exactly.
It's not every story you must react to. It's not every position you must react to. But you look into it, take the lessons therein, and move on. But people just want those who will be massaging their ego. And BQ is not one of them.
Absolutely.
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 So we just need to. But for me, I would say, you should let it rest.
Oh,
let
BQ let it rest.
Yes.
No,
because obviously,
I think there should be a
obviously by now, whoever started that debate wrongfully would have known that it's stupid.
So guys, you can see that we are living in a country where these politicians are trying to make the media houses to be compromised. They want you to speak to their own favor. They want you to stand with them. They don't want the real news in Nigeria to be aired. And guess what? It takes integrity. It takes being conscious for you to still be in this media space and you want to keep up with speaking nothing but the truth. So now we know Tinubu has, he has newspaper house, he has media house, and you don't expect these people to come out and begin to criticize him. Definitely, the person who is in charge running all these places must be telling the workers what to say and what not to say. And you just find out that there is no freedom of speech in Nigeria. Look at what has been happening across the country. So many communities have come under attacks. So many people have been killed. We saw the 3 military men that were killed by these terrorists. We saw how, people in Benue were being attacked. Even so many places, even in Enugu State, these people were saying that they don't just rape their women. After that, they want to do all kinds of things to their women. We've seen all these things happening. Hardly will you see the media reporting them. The whole system has been hijacked. These people, they don't want Nigerians to react. They don't want. Look at the prices of data today in Nigeria. The prices of data is making it difficult for Nigerians to come online, and that is what they want to do. because they know that if Nigerians keep coming online, they will keep, exposing them. So the only thing they can do is just to make sure the price tariff of these telecom companies are high, and then Nigerians will not be able to afford it. Then they won't be able to come online, and thereby they will not be able to also criticize the government. But who loses? The government loses, because you can imagine if you can empower Nigerians, give them enough data, enough electricity, Nigerians will be giving you returns that you don't need to be going and borrowing. Now, I heard Tinubu has been, World Bank has approved loan to the Tinubu's government. World Bank cannot ask Tinubu why Nigerian youths cannot get constant electricity so that they can work online, all these service-based job. They can do all these things, make money for themselves and also for the country. But Tinubu prefers loan until they've loaned out everything in Nigeria. Anyway, guys, I don't know what you make of all this. The kind of leaders we have in this country is the type that we should be praying for God to really remove them and put the rightful people so that Nigeria can move forward. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell. Please give this video a like so that YouTube can recommend it to others, and drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you.